Section 1.2. What is an insect? To fully understand the importance of insects to Earth's ecosystems, one must first understand where insects are placed in the phylogenetic tree of life. All species are placed within one of three large domains: eukarya, archaea, and bacteria. Archaea and bacteria are referred to as prokaryotic species. They are small, 0.5 to 5 micrometer, unicellular organisms that lack true nuclei and other membrane-covered organelles. Prokaryotic cells typically possess cell walls comprised of predominantly peptidoglycan, bacteria, or a mix of other polysaccharides and proteins, archaea. Prokaryotic DNA is not found within a membrane-bound nucleus. The diversity of prokaryotic species is exceedingly large and likely, when fully understood, much greater than any other life form on the planet, including insects. The domain eukarya contains all other species on the planet and is characterized by possessing numerous membrane-bound organelles, including a nucleus containing the cell's DNA. Eukaryotic cells are large, 10 to 100 micrometer, compared to prokaryotic species, and may lack cell walls. If cell walls are present, they are typically made up of primarily of cellulose, e.g. plants, or chitin, e.g. fungi, often mixed with other polysaccharides and glycoproteins. Each domain is divided into smaller and smaller evolutionarily related groups, clades, of related species. Each group is defined by shared traits, e.g. all insects possess a head, thorax, abdomen, 3 pair of legs and usually a pair of wings. All Coleoptera, beetles, possess these same traits and are typically convex in shape, with the first set of wings being shell-like and protective. The second set of wings are membranous and held folded under the first set, Figure 1.2. Figure 1.2. A beetle known as a firefly, Photinus pyralis, Coleoptera. Lampyridae, showing the 2 sets of wings. The forewings known as elytra are tough and protective, while the hindwings are membranous. Copyright Alex Wild, used by permission. This categorization of species is somewhat analogous to a set of Russian nesting dolls. Below the level of domain, in increasing specificity, are the categories of kingdom, phyla, class, order, family, genus, and species. Each domain encompasses several kingdoms, each kingdom encompasses several phyla, and so forth down to the level of a single species. As species are discovered, they are placed within this classification framework known as the Linnaean system of classification, named for Carolus Linnaeus, who first proposed the system in the 18th century. Individual species are provided a 2-word descriptor, the genus and the specific epithet, both of which are italicized when written, e.g. Coristinora fumiferana, Tortricidae, for the eastern spruce budworm, Figure 1.3. Within this classification system, insects, class Insecta, are found within the animal kingdom, and within that, the phylum Arthropoda. Arthropoda includes not only insects, but also other classes including arachnida, spiders, scorpions, ticks, mites, and others, crustacea, crabs, lobsters, shrimp, isopods, copepods, and others, diplopoda, millipedes, chilopoda, centipedes, and several other groups. Within the Arthropoda, insects are found in the subphylum Hexapoda and the class Insecta. Table 1.1 provides a general classification system for the Arthropoda. It is important to note that any classification system is subject to continual modification as new species are described and a better understanding of evolutionary relationships within and between groups is acquired. Figure 1.3. The moth, Coristinora fumiferana, Lepidoptera, Tortricidae. A larval stage. Copyright Neil Thompson, University of Maine at Fort Kent. Bugwood.org. Bee Adults. Copyright K.B. Jameson, Canadian Forest Service, Bugwood.org. Arthropods are generally described as bilaterally symmetrical and segmented creatures possessing an exoskeleton. The exoskeleton lines the entirety of the outside of the body and almost all of the internal portions of the digestive, excretory, respiratory, and reproductive systems. The exoskeleton provides structural support for the animal as well as providing internal and external protection against predators, parasites, physical shock, and desiccation. The segments of the body may have undergone tagmosis, fusion, to form distinct body sections or tagma, e.g. a head, Internally, the circulatory system of arthropods is an open system lacking true veins and arteries. The blood is simply pumped around inside the body cavity by a structure called the dorsal vessel. There is no spinal cord, however, there is a ventral nerve cord comprised of a pair of ganglia located approximately in each body segment. Ganglia are connected in a chain-like manner by nerves. The foremost ganglion is multilobed and is referred to as the brain. The appendages of arthropods are referred to as jointed. Arthropod literally means jointed foot in Greek. The various classes of animals found within the arthropoda are variations of the above characteristics. Within the class Insecta, there are 29 orders of insects, Table 1.2, most of which can be found within forest ecosystems. Insects are characterized by possessing 3 body tagmata, head, thorax, and abdomen, each of which is the result of tagmosis of multiple segments, 3 pair of legs, 2 pair of wings as adults, and 1 pair of antennae, figure 1.4. Within the class Insecta, there is a tremendous variety in appendages, e.g. antennae, legs and wings. These have been modified through evolutionary time for specific functions, figure 1.5. Table 1.1. General classification system for the extant major groups within the phylum Arthropoda. The listing below does not include extinct groups. Phylum Arthropoda. Subphylum Chilicerata. Class Arachnida. Spiders, scorpions, wind scorpions, sun spiders, ticks, mites. Class Xiphoceira. Horseshoe crabs. Class Pycnogonida. Sea spiders. Subphylum Diplopoda. Millipedes. Subphylum Chilopoda. Centipedes. Subphylum Pauropoda. Pauropods. Subphylum Symphyla. Symphylans. Subphylum Crustacea *. Lobster, crab, shrimp, copods, brachiopods, barnacles, sea lice. Subphylum Hexapod. Class Collembola. Springtails. Class Protera. Proterans or coneheads. Class Dipleura. Diplerans. Class Insecta. The insects. Currently, many systematists group the crustaceans and hexapods into a single group known as the Pancrustacea. The combination of molecular and morphological evidence for doing so is strong. The resulting classification of these subphyla, Oakley et al., 2013, Rhoda Stabeli et al., 2013, as well as the Diplopoda and the Chilopoda is complicated and beyond the scope of this chapter. At this level, the reader is urged to simply understand the characteristics that define the class Insecta. Natatorial legs are oar-like in shape and used for swimming, e.g. waterboatmen. Raptorial legs are used for grasping prey, e.g. mantids. Saltatorial legs have evolved for jumping, e.g. grasshoppers. Cursorial legs are used for running, e.g. carpenter ants, and fossorial legs are specialized for digging, burrowing in the soil, e.g. mole crickets. Not all insects may have wings. Juvenile insects lack wings. Almost all adult insects possess wings. However, some species, through the process of evolution, have entirely lost the need for and the ability to develop wings, e.g. fleas, adult worker ants. Insect mouthparts, figure 1.6, also show great variation. Mouthparts may be modified for chewing, e.g. beetles among many, sucking plant fluids, e.g. aphids, whiteflies, leafhoppers, sucking blood, mosquitoes, lapping up liquids, e.g. carrion flies, and combinations of the aforementioned, bees. The possession of an exoskeleton presents several challenges. The exoskeleton cannot grow in the traditional sense, it does not and cannot stretch. During growth in the immature phases, the insect must shed its old exoskeleton and produce a new larger one. This process is called molting or ecdysis, see Chapter 2. After the old exoskeleton is shed and prior to the hardening of the new exoskeleton, the animal will expand the volume of its body, thus providing new internal space for growth. Ultimately, the new exoskeleton will harden and external growth will cease until the next molt. During this process, with the expansion of the exoskeleton, space is also made available for internal growth of organs. Before the exoskeleton has hardened into a protective shell, the insect is at its most vulnerable to predation, parasitism, disease, and physical shock. The molting process is under tight control by the endocrine system of the insect and only occurs within the juvenile stages of the animal. Figure 1.7. Table 1.2. List of extant orders of the class Insecta. Class Insecta. Order Archaeognathus, jumping bristletails. Order Zygentoma, silverfish and firebrats. Order Ephemeroptera, mayflies. Order Odonata, dragonflies and damselflies. Order Orthoptera, grasshoppers, crickets, katydids. Order Phasmatodea, walking sticks and leaf insects. Order Embioptera, web spinners. Order Nodoptera, ice crawlers, gladiators. Order Dermaptera, earwigs. Order Plecoptera, stoneflies. Order Xeraptera, angel insects. Order Mantodea, mantids. Order Blattodea, roaches and termites. Order Socoptera, booklice. Order Phiraptera, lice. Order Thyssanoptera, thrips. Order Hemiptera, true bugs, leafhoppers, aphids, whiteflies, psyllids, scales. Order Coleoptera, beetles. Order Rhaphidioptera, snakeflies. Order Neuroptera, lacewings and antlions. Order Megaloptera, alderflies and dobsonflies. Order Strepsiptera, twisted wing parasites. Order Trichoptera, caddisflies. Order Lepidoptera, butterflies and moths. Order Siphonoptera, fleas. Order Mecoptera, scorpionflies. Order Diptera, flies. Order Hymenoptera, bees, wasps, ants, and sawflies. Figure 1.4. Basic insect body plan. Copyright Matt Leatherman. Head. Antennae. Compound eye. Mouth parts. Thorax. Prothoracic leg. Mesothoracic leg. Metathoracic leg. Abdomen. Forewing, tegmen. Once the adult stage is reached, molting and growth cease. Each juvenile stage in the life cycle of an insect is referred to as an instar. The time it takes to develop from one instar to the next is known as a stadium. The number of instars and the length of stadia vary tremendously among the insects. For example, depending on the species, insects may have 1, 2, or many generations per year, univoltine, bivoltine, and multivoltine, respectively. Conversely, many species will require many years to develop, e.g. several groups of aquatic insects and some wood-boring beetles. As insects are ectotherms, cold-blooded, the process of growth is also dependent on environmental temperature. Typically, within limits, the warmer the environment is above a species-specific developmental threshold temperature, up to a maximum optimal temperature, the faster growth will occur. Below or above this optimum, growth will be slower. Below the threshold temperature, growth will cease. Temperatures more than a few degrees above the optimum are often fatal. For many species, this relationship between development time and temperature has been accurately quantified. With this information, one can predict the emergence of insect populations, a very useful tool in managing pestiferous species. Figure 1.5. Insect legs. A water boatman showing natatorial legs for swimming. Copyright Kansas Department of Agriculture, bugwood.org. B. A mantid fly showing raptorial front legs for grasping prey. Copyright John Ushik, bugwood.org. Circa. Saltatorial rear legs for jumping in a grasshopper. Copyright Whitney Cranshaw, Colorado State University, bugwood.org. D. A tiger beetle showing cursorial legs for running. Copyright Susan Ellis, bugwood.org. E. Fossorial legs for digging in a mole cricket. Copyright Fur 0002, Flagstaphodos under GFDL. Figure 1.6. Most common insect mouthparts. A. Chewing, grasshopper. Copyright Alex Wild, used by permission. B. Piercing sucking. Periodical cicada. Copyright Alex Wild, used by permission. C. Sponging lapping. Fly, Rhopalomeridae, Diptera. Copyright Alex Wild, used by permission. Figure 1.7. A periodical cicada, Magicicada, Hemiptera, Cicadidae, undergoing a molt. Copyright Alex Wild, used by permission.